Hello and welcome to Holt Fieldhouse as we get ready to roll for the South Atlantic Conference opener for both of these teams. It's Carson-Newman hosting Lincoln Memorial here on the Eagles Sports Network. My name is Ryan Wilkes. I'll be taking you through all the action this evening. Thank you all for joining me wherever you may be watching or listening from. We've got a good one tonight. Lincoln Memorial comes in at 3-0. Took all 9 sets in their first 3 games. Took down Elizabeth City State, Newberry, and Chowan. They did not surrender a set. They only had 1 set in which they gave up 20 points or more. So this is a Lincoln Memorial team that is coming in hot to face off against Carson-Newman, 2-1 on the season, coming in after the Union College Invitational. We'll get ready to roll. We'll get starters here on the other side after the national anthem here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, we are getting ready to roll for Lincoln Memorial and Carson-Newman here at Holt Fieldhouse. First match or game of the season in Holt Fieldhouse for the Eagles this year. Carson-Newman Volleyball getting ready to roll. We'll talk some starters now for LMU. Abigail Kessler, Lauren Pickett, Catherine Bettel, Megan Meyer, Agata Bogdanska, Kristen Moore. We'll talk about her a little bit. She's an all-conference selection from a year ago, and she's off to a good start this year for the Rail Splitters. And the libero is going to be Lauren Jacob. For Carson-Newman, it's Blair Cherry, Emerson Osmus, Annie Dizakowski, Maddie Hurst, Trinity Hafey getting the start, Taylor Kieran, and libero is Blake Cherry. Interesting points about tonight's lineup. You got 3 freshmen in there: Emerson Osmus, Annie Dizakowski, and Maddie Hurst. The freshmen have been a big impact on this Carson-Newman team. Emerson Osmus tallied 38 kills across 14 sets in Carson-Newman's first 3 games, a .253 hit percentage. Annie Dizakowski also played well, tallying 35 kills and 98 attacks with a .184 hit percentage. Both of those freshmen also added 6 digs. Maddie Hurst also played in 11 sets. She gets a start tonight 34 kills and just 11 errors for a 343 hit percentage. So Carson-Newman fairly freshman heavy this year, but the Eagles do have a fair bit of returners, including both Cherry sisters, who are in the starting lineup this evening. Blair and Blake have been large keys to Carson-Newman's success so far this year through 3 games. Blair has racked up assists and digs against number 4, Missouri St. Louis. 49 assists, 9 digs, 4 kills, and 2 service aces. That was a match in which Carson-Newman battled to the last set, was down 2-0, came back and made it 2-2, and had match point against UMSL, but could not get the decisive point. What a good start for the Eagles this year, 2-1 with wins over Harding and Union in those games. Blair had 42 assists, 10 digs, 4 aces, 3 blocks, or 3 block assists, against Union. A 50 assist double-double with 12 digs, 6 kills, and 4 aces as well. And Blake Cherry has done a great job as well, coming back from injury after 2023-24. 2.71 digs per set and 38 total for Carson-Newman. Some other returners to mention: McKenna Hall, who is out tonight, she is back. Taylor Adams has picked up right where she left off, following her career-high 228 kill junior season, 28 so far this year. Benna McCombs is in a good year so far. Taylor Kieran and Cameron Batis are all returners for Carson-Newman this year, and their first-year head coach, Kat Collins, who led the beach volleyball program for the past couple years. She was 67 and 49 at the helm of the beach program, and she's now the director of volleyball, first-year head coach for Carson-Newman. Got her first win against Harding in 5 sets on September 6th, and now looking for her first home win. First game as head coach of the Eagles for Kat Collins. And Carson-Newman, who has won the last 9 against LMU. LMU took the previous 2 matchups last year to 5 sets. Carson-Newman won both, so a 9-match win streak for Carson-Newman. LMU leads the all-time series 32-26, but it's been all Eagles in the past 9 matchups. So we are ready to roll here from Holt Fieldhouse. Decent crowd on hand as LMU's getting ready to roll. The Rail Splitters also led by a first-year head coach, John Cash. He led the LMU men's program. He has quite the outfit tonight, too. It seems he's popular for the Hawaiian-looking shirts on the sideline. Talked to him pregame. He is ready to go for this Lincoln Memorial team. He led the men's program to a 143 record over 6 seasons, practically building the program from the ground up. He was the IVA Coach of the Year 3 years in a row. And Kristen Mooring has been the top player so far for Lincoln Memorial in all-conference selection last season. She will head back to serve to kick this one off. Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial here from Holt Fieldhouse, as Mooring will tee it up. LMU in the all-blues, Carson-Newman in the home whites. As he serve goes to the back row, Osmus watches it out of play, and it's a service error for Kristen Mooring. 1-0 Carson-Newman. We'll have a quick sub. It's Cameron Batis checking in for Annie Dizakowski as she will head back to serve. Carson-Newman takes the early 1-0 lead off the service error from Kristen Mooring. New unis for Carson-Newman this year, the white jerseys with the orange numbers, as Batis knocks it over, set at the net. Bogdanska puts it down, point Lincoln Memorial. Good set by Lauren Pickett as Bogdanska checks out. Back to serve is Lincoln Memorial. This one is going to go past the back line. It's another service error. Lauren Jacob pushed that one a little too far, and both Carson-Newman's points so far have come off unforced errors by Lincoln Memorial as Maddie Hurst checks out, Taylor Kieran in, and it's Blake Cherry back to serve. The libero this evening for Carson-Newman tees it up and knocks it over. Set of the net, far side, or near side. Kessler gets it over. Now Osmus a big swing, and she puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. First kill of the night for Carson-Newman comes from the freshman Emerson Osmus, and Carson-Newman's lead is 3-1. Cherry to serve once again after Osmus tallies her first kill. Cherry gets it off the top of the net. Good dig. It's bumped around, and it's going to be a 4th hit. Megan Meyer with a nice dig, but Lincoln Memorial couldn't keep it up. And it's 4-1 as service ace for Blake Cherry. First ace of the night for either side. As Cherry back to serve once again. This one in the back row, set at the net by Pickett near side. It's knocked over by Kessler, and now Carson-Newman with it. Bumped over. Set by Pickett at the net. Big swing by Catherine Bettel, and it goes down. Point Lincoln Memorial. Good set again by Pickett as we'll have another sub. Coming in for LMU, it's Reagan Wilkinson. She'll get the serve. As LMU's back on the board, it's 4-2 Carson-Newman. Couple service errors so far for Lincoln Memorial, but not that time, as Sherry sets it up far side for Kieran, just tips it over as Jacob retrieves. Now a big swing. It's pushed past the back line, and point Carson-Newman. Meyer teed it up there, just a little too strong on the swing as Taylor Adams checks in for the first time tonight. Cameron Bates, Trinity Hafey heads back to the bench. So now it's Claire Sherry. Talked about her 50 assist double-double last time out as she puts this serve into the net. A service error for Carson-Newman. Lincoln Memorial back on the board. It's 5-3. First service error of the night for Carson-Newman. Lincoln Memorial already has two. Two out of Carson-Newman's 5 points have been off service errors as Megan Meyer will serve for the Rail Splitters. Osmus to Cherry, back to Osmus, and she'll put it down off the hands of Kirsten Mooring, and point Carson-Newman. Second kill for Osmus as Bennett McCombs checks in for the first time. Andy Dzikowski back in. Osmus and Bates check out for the Eagles. 6-3 Carson-Newman in a fast-paced start. As Bennett McCombs will serve. This one is gonna get on the back line. It's a service ace for Bennett McCombs. Lincoln Memorial seemed content to let that one go, and Bennett McCombs paints the back line. Second service ace of the night for the Eagles. First for Bennett McCombs, and it's 7-3. McCombs with the serve once more, heads to the back row. This time it's a little too far. Point Lincoln Memorial. Bogdanska checks back in. Checking out is Lauren Jacob, as both teams now 2 service errors apiece. Catherine Bettel serves for Lincoln Memorial. Back row for McCombs. Cherry sets near side to Dzikowski. It's blocked at the net, tipped around, and it'll go down. Point LMU. Looks like Pickett and Bogdanska both in on the block, and LMU's cut the deficit to 2. Not a bad swing by Dzikowski there, but a great block. Be the first block of the night for either side. As Bettel tees it up for Lincoln Memorial, Dzikowski receives. Cherry sets up for Kieran, who knocks it over. Nice dig by Bettel, and now it's put down by Lincoln Memorial. 7-6 as, that was a dig by Wilkinson on the back row. And Bogdanska put it down to make it 7-6. Bettel with the serve once again for LMU. McCombs receives on the back row. Set far side. Adams' big swing is tipped at the net, and it goes down. Point Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams gets on the board with her first kill. As Maddie Hirsch checks back in, Blake Cherry catches her breath for the first time this evening. As Taylor Kieran will head back to serve for Carson-Newman. Served by Kieran. Set at the net by Pickett, far side Mooring, and it'll go down. Block attempt by Carson-Newman, but it stayed on the Eagles side. And all conference selection, Kristen Mooring gets her first kill. As Cherry checks back in for Kieran. 8-7 your score, Carson-Newman out in front. As it'll be Lauren Pickett to serve for the Rail Splitters. Back and forth we go here in this first set as Cherry retrieves to her sister Blair. Now a big swing by Adams, but it's blocked by Mooring and Bogdanska on the far side, and we're tied at 8. 2 blocks now for Lincoln Memorial so far in this first set. As Pickett tees it up again, she'll put it in the net. Another service error for LMU. That's been the Achilles heel so far, and the Eagles retake the lead. Trinity Hafey checks in. Out goes Taylor Adams. As Carson-Newman retakes the 1-point advantage. 3 service errors for LMU, 2 so far for Carson-Newman as Trinity Hafey sets up to serve for the Eagles. Back row sent by Pickett. Near side Mooring, big swing. Eagles are able to keep it alive. Now Dzikowski gets it over far side. Big swing by Kessler, and it's down. Point LMU. First kill for Kessler and 2 total attacks. So far, only 3 kills for the Eagles. 5 now for LMU. And we're tied up at 9. Here's a serve from Mooring. Back row for Blake Cherry. Bogdanska gets a piece of it, and she'll put it down. Point LMU. That one was lingering at the top of the net for Bogdanska, and she made easy work of it. LMU takes its first lead of the night. It's 10-9. Kristen Mooring will serve once again for the Rail Splitters. Blake Cherry receives to her sister Blair. Near side, Dizakowski. Good swing there, but nice play by LMU to keep it alive. Mooring will poke it over. Cherry sets near side, middle of the net for Hurst. And now Bogdanska with a big swing. Carson-Newman will block attempt, but it goes down. Point LMU. Agata Bogdanska has been a presence so far tonight. Make that 4 kills to lead all scorers so far. Mooring once again with a serve. Back row for Trinity Hayfie. Blair Cherry sets up, and that'll be Maddie Hurst who scores. It's 11-10. Nice job by the freshman Hurst as Emerson Osmus checks back in, as does Cameron Batis, Franny Dizakowski, and Bennett McCombs. 11-10 the score. LMU has gotten out in front for the first time this evening. As Cameron Batis sets up to serve, one of those Eagles returners we talked about to balance out some of the youth on this team. Pickett sets up for Bogdanska, big swing. Nice dig by Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry now to Emerson Osmus, who gets it over the front line of defense and scores. Nice attack there by Emerson Osmus, the freshman who has really done a great job so far for Carson-Newman. Make that now 41 kills with her 3 tonight so far this year for Carson-Newman. 11-all as Batis tees up the serve once again. It's back row. Now Pickett, far side for Meyer, and it gets off the hands of the middle blockers. Point LMU. Back in comes Catherine Bettle. Checking out is Agata Bogdanska, who has been maybe the highlight so far for either side. As Lauren Jacob sets up to serve. Back row for Trinity Hayfie. Now kind of a no man's land, and it goes off the hands of Blair Cherry now to play. Looked like it got into the hands of Hayfie a little bit. And Blair Cherry trying to get to it, could not. That's a service ace for the Rail Splitters. 13-11 LMU as Jacob sends the serve back row for Batis. Now dumped over by Cherry. Nice move there, but LMU able to keep it alive on the dig by Jacob. Now Cherry towards the middle for Hurst, and she scores. Maddie Hurst with a big swing in the middle of the net. And the Eagles get the momentum back just a little bit as Hurst will check out. Kieran back in for Carson-Newman. Blake Cherry to serve for the Eagles, the libero this evening. Sends the serve back row. Pickett sets at the net near side. Big swing by Kessler, and it goes in the net. Point Carson-Newman. Tied up back at 13 apiece. It's been back and forth in this first set. LMU again hungry for a win over the Eagles. Carson-Newman has won the last 9. Blake Cherry sends a serve over, back row for Mooring. Near side set for Kessler, and it'll go down. Point Lincoln Memorial. Second kill for Kessler. As Wilkerson checks back in, she'll serve. Kessler checks out. 14-13 Lincoln Memorial in a busy first set between 2 quality teams in the South Atlantic Conference. Wilkerson sends a serve over. Cherry sets near side for Osmus. Big swing goes off the hands of Jacob, but LMU able to keep it alive. Far side Meyer. Batis with the dig. Blair Cherry sets up near side. Osmus who puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. The freshman up to 4 kills, leading the Eagles so far. Taylor Adams checks in. Trinity Hayfie checks out. What a big swing from Emerson Osmus, who is not showing her youth at all. She continues to impress for Carson-Newman as Blair Cherry sends a serve over. Pickett sets at the net far side. Big swing by Meyer there, and she'll get it off the middle blockers. Point LMU. Back and forth we go. 15-14 Rail Splitters here in set number 1. Kat Collins' Holt Fieldhouse head coaching debut this evening, and John Cash First-year head coach for LMU, as this serve goes off the top of the net, stays in play. Beta sets it far side, Osmus, and she finds the sweet spot in the middle of the court. Point Carson-Newman. 5th kill for Emerson Osmus in 6 attacks. She's been excellent so far as Bennett McCombs and Annie Dzikowski check back in for Osmus and Betas. 15 apiece here in set number 1. As McCombs set to serve. Pickett sets far side, Mooring a big swing, and it gets out the hands of McComb. Point LMU. Kristen Mooring uses the elevation in her leap as Agata Bogdanska checks back in. Lauren Jacob will check out. Kristen Mooring proving, well, she was an all-conference selection. She gets her 2nd kill of the evening. Serve sent over for LMU. Blair Cherry sets the middle of the net for Kieran, who puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Back and forth we go as Maddie Hurst checks back in for Blake Cherry. It's 16 apiece here in the first set. As Taylor Kieran gets on the score sheet with her first kill. She'll go back to serve. Pickett bumps it far side, Mooring, and that's going to go too far near the Carson-Newman bench, and it's an attacking error for Kristen Mooring. Carson-Newman retakes the lead at 17-16. Nice student section forming here at Holt Fieldhouse this evening. Again, the first event for any sport here inside Holt Fieldhouse in the 2024-25 season. Bogdanska near side, a huge swing. And Carson-Newman has no answer so far for Agata Bogdanska. Blake Cherry checks back in for Taylor Kieran as the score evens up once more at 17 apiece. In checks Abigail Kessler. She'll get Reagan Wilkerson a blow. As Lauren Pickett heads back to serve. 17 apiece here in set number 1 as Cherry receives a serve. Blair Cherry sets near side. Dzikowski gets it off the hands of the middle blockers, but LMU keeps it alive. Far side Mooring, big swing, nice block by Carson-Newman. Once again, LMU able to keep it alive. McCombs sets far side Adams. A block, but it goes out of play. It was Bogdanska and Mooring again, but that time just missed the far sideline, and Taylor Adams gets the kill to put Carson-Newman back in front. Trinity Hayfield check in to serve. Adams now with her 2nd kill. She'll get a breath. Here's Carson-Newman, maybe looks to pull away a little bit here in set number 1. 18-17 the score as Hayfield tees up the serve. Back row now, Pickett sets near side, Mooring, a block by Carson-Newman. It's Annie Dzikowski and Maddie Hurst. The 2 freshmen combined for the Eagles. First block of the match, and it's 19-17. Make that the 2nd block for Carson-Newman, and that will force Lincoln Memorial to call a timeout. It's 19-17 Eagles as we start to tighten up here in this first set here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Lincoln Memorial calls a timeout as Carson-Newman retakes the lead. It's 19-17. Ryan Wilkes with you here on the Eagles Sports Network. The Eagles look to pull away a little bit here in this first set. Nice sequence, Trinity Hayfield. Taylor Adams got the kill, and then Annie Dzikowski and Maddie Hurst got the block to make it 19-17 Eagles. And forcing LMU timeout. Things have been pretty even so far between the two sides. Carson-Newman a 400 flat hitting percentage. Lincoln Memorial at 333. One thing that has been maybe a point of focus for both sides is the service errors. 3 for LMU, 2 for Carson-Newman here in the first set. But after the Hurst and Dzikowski block, both sides have 2 blocks apiece as the presence at the net has been there for both sides. 19-17, Trinity Hayfield heads back to serve. She'll send it back row. Pickett Sets near side Mooring. She got the elevation again and gets it off the hand of McCombs. Point LMU. One thing you really notice when watching Kristen Mooring is the elevation she gets on her jump and the power she puts behind that swing. She's up to 3 kills on the evening. She'll head back to serve. Blake Cherry receives it. Blair Cherry sets far side. Maddie Hurst, a big swing. Gets off the hands of Pickett, and it stayed alive off the basketball goal, but it's out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Second kill for Maddie Hurst. As Bates and Osmus check in, McCombs and Dzikowski head out. Pretty even scoring so far for Carson-Newman, although Emerson Osmus leads the way with 5 kills. Tied with Agata Bogdanska atop the score sheet as Carson-Newman's leads now 20-18. 5 points away from securing set number 1. Served by Bates, goes back row. Now near side Meyer gets it off the hands of Bates and out of play. Actually, that was Kessler with the kill to get LMU back within 1. Big point there for the Rail Splitters as Carson-Newman, you could see trying to piece a little run together and pull away, but LMU not making things easy. Lauren Jacob sets up the serve, goes off the hands of Bates and out of play. Service error for Lauren Jacob and LMU, and Kat Collins will burn a timeout as the Rail Splitters even things back up at 20. 20 apiece as we head down the stretch of this first set. Should be a fun finish to see who gets first blood in this one. We'll be back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, it's 20 apiece between these in-state rivals, Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial, here on the Eagle Sports Network. Another interesting note about this set, Carson-Newman becomes just the second team, or the second set overall, in which LMU has allowed 20 or more. Carson-Newman is up to 20 on the night. LMU fighting back here in this first set. Carson-Newman had the lead for a little bit. LMU has since gone back and forth with the Eagles as Lauren Jacob will tee up the serve out of the timeout. First to 5 here in set number 1 is Blair Cherry sets for Emerson Osmus. It's blocked to the net but kept alive by the Eagles. Blair Cherry goes far side for Maddie Hurst, and she'll get it off the hands of Lauren Jacob. Point Carson-Newman. Maddie Hurst checks out. Taylor Kieran back in. Carson-Newman tried the near side. Didn't work, went far side for Hurst, and she got it done. It's 21-20 Eagles. Blake Cherry tees up the serve. Goes back row for Mooring. Jacob bumps it towards the net. Now it's Meyer with a big swing. Eagles able to keep it alive. Blair Cherry tries to dump it over, but goes into the net. You can see the right idea there from Blair Cherry. Stumped it right into the net, and we're all back even at 21. Wilkerson checks in. Kessler checks out. This will be Reagan Wilkerson to serve. 21 all. Here in Holt Fieldhouse in set number 1 as Bates bumps it towards Blair Cherry, who sets it for Osmus, blocked at the net. Now Blair Cherry go right back to Taylor Kieran. Jacob able to keep it alive. Mooring goes to retrieve it. Now Meyer at the net, able to bump it over. Play here at the net, kept alive by Carson-Newman for the time being. Bates sets it to Osmus, blocked to the net. Carson-Newman, Blair Cherry able to keep it alive as Emerson Osmus rolls it over. Mooring, back row to Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry near side, Emerson Osmus, a big swing, and it goes down. Point Carson-Newman. Maybe the best rally we've seen this evening as Emerson Osmus gets her 6th on the night. Adams in for Hafey as Carson-Newman retakes a 22-21 lead. Blair Cherry to serve for Carson-Newman. Back row for Meyer. Pickett sets for Mooring at the middle of the net. Goes off the hand of Bates and out of play in between the basketball goal. Tied once again at 22 apiece. We'll see who can come out on top here in set number 1. It's been a hard-fought set for both sides. As Megan Meyer goes back to serve. 22-22. Meyer tees it up for the Rail Splitters. Goes off the hands of Osmus and down. Service ace for LMU. Big point there to make it 23-22. As Kat Collins burns her second timeout, we'll go to break. 23-22 Rail Splitters. We go down the stretch here in the first set here on the Eagle Sports Network. What an exciting first set it's been here from Holt Fieldhouse. Not a bad way to welcome back events here in this historic fieldhouse. Carson-Newman trails LMU 23-22 here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes with you all evening long. Excited to take you through this exciting match. We've had a couple standouts so far. Emerson Osmus leads the Eagles with 6 kills, and Agata Bogdanska for LMU has 5. Pretty distributed scoring. Other than that, Christian Mooring, the all-conference selection. Second for LMU with 4. Carson-Newman is the freshman, Maddie Hurst with 3. So 23-22. Megan Meyer will have the serve after the service ace for the Rail Splitters. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry rolls it towards the net. Now Blake Cherry's just going to have to get it over. Pickett sets at the net in the middle for a battle. And it's a violation of Carson-Newman. Here we're going to call a carry. And it's 24-22. Set point for LMU. Again, the Rail Splitters have yet to drop a set this season in 3 matches. 9-0 in sets, looking to move that to 10 with the set point. Meyer tees up the serve, back row for Osmus, now set to her far side, blocked to the net, kept alive by the Eagles. Blair Cherry near side for Adams, who gets it over off the hands of Wilkerson, and it goes down. Point Carson-Newman. It looked like head coach John Cash was trying to tell Wilkerson that was going to go wide, but she got a hand on it, and it keeps Carson-Newman alive. 24-23 as Osmus heads back to serve. Carson-Newman looking to extend this set. Again, you have to win by 2. Still set point for LMU. Osmus tees up the serve. Set by Pickett, far side. Mooring a big swing, but it's blocked by Kieran and Adams. Point Carson-Newman. What a timely block for Taylor Kieran and Taylor Adams. It's Taylor square getting the 3rd block of the set for the Eagles and tie things up at 24. Here's Osmus with the serve. Again, win by 2. No longer set point as Pickett dumps it over. Blake Cherry bumps to Dzikowski, would poach it over the middle blockers. A great dig by Mooring as Jacob rolls it over for LMU. Now a big swing by Dzikowski. Cherry sets in the middle of the net for Blake Cherry. Now Dzikowski near side. LMU keeping it alive here. Mooring a big swing. Cherry for a second keeps it alive, and Blake Cherry got a hand on it as well, but it goes down. Kill by Kristen Mooring. She kept it alive with the dig and then gets the kill. It's her 5th of the night. The tie for the lead on the LMU score sheet. Back to set point for the Rail Splitters. It'll be Catherine Bettle to serve. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry now will dump it over. Bogdanska keeps it alive. Jacob with the dig to get it over for LMU. Now Dzikowski with a big swing. Nice dig by Wilkerson. Far side Mooring. Osmus receives it. Near side Dzikowski. A big swing, but she pushes it past the back line. An attacking error that will end the first set. LMU takes it 26-24. And the Rail Splitters take a 1-0 lead over the Eagles here in Holt Fieldhouse. We'll take a short break and be back with set number 2. Hopefully deliver some of the same excitement we had in the first set. LMU leads 1-0 here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ready to go for set number 2 here from Holt Fieldhouse. LMU takes the 1-0 lead over Carson-Newman. It was a very exciting first set. 13 ties, 3 lead changes. And Carson-Newman was out in front for the majority of that first set, but just could not bring it home. LMU takes set number 1, which keeps that impressive streak alive. 10 sets won for LMU. They have not dropped one yet this season, but looking at some of the numbers, Kristen Mooring and Agata Bogdanska lead the way for LMU. 5 kills apiece for Carson-Newman. It's Emerson Osmus at the top with 6 kills. The next closest is 3. Emerson Osmus has had herself a game so far here in game number 1 of the season from Holt Fieldhouse. Again, both teams have had solid starts to the year. Carson-Newman was really close to pulling off a massive upset against now number 4 University of Missouri St. Louis. They're in Jackson, Tennessee for the Union Invitational as Hafey serves. Pickett sets near side, big swing by Kessler. It's blocked in the net but kept alive by LMU. Now Kessler gets it back and she'll put it down. Point Lincoln Memorial. Talking about that Missouri-St. Louis match, Carson-Newman was down 2-0 and battled all the way back. Got to match point in the 3rd set. Couldn't bring it home, looking for a similar fiery comeback here this evening as it's set for Hurst, who pokes it over. Great dig by Jacob on the near side as Mooring will roll it over for LMU. Cherry sets far side, big swing by Dzikowski, gets off the hands of Jacob, or Pickett, excuse me. Point Carson-Newman. Dzikowski gets another kill as she checks out. Bates checks in. Actually, that's Dzikowski's first kill of the night for Carson-Newman. We're all tied back up at 1. Cameron Bates back to serve for Carson-Newman. Here very early in set number 2. Pickett sets to the net, Bogdanska with a big swing. That time Carson-Newman able to keep it alive. Now a beautiful dump by Blair Cherry, and she scores. She's been looking for that all night so far, and she gets it there. Very selective of when she goes for that. That time she had her eyes on the LMU middle blockers and realized she had a chance at that. And she gets it done. Point Carson-Newman. Here's a serve from Bates. Back row from Meyer. Pickett sets near side. Meyer a big swing, but it's blocked by Cherry and Hurst. Point Carson-Newman. Hurst and Cherry combined for the block. It's the 4th of the match for Carson-Newman. And the Eagles' lead is now 2. Bates back to serve once more for Carson-Newman. Pickett sets at the net, big swing, and it's put down by Abigail Kessler. Catherine Bettle checks back in for Agata Bogdanska. Lauren Jacob went back to serve the libero tonight for the Rail Splitters. Blair Cherry sets far side. Emerson Osmus with a big swing, and guess what? Emerson Osmus has herself another kill. That's 7 now for the freshman. And Carson-Newman gets the serve back. Maddie Hurst checks in. Trinity Hafey. Hurst checks out. Hafey checks in. As Blake Cherry heads back to serve for Carson-Newman. Back row gets off the hands of Meyer, and it goes out of play. Service ace for Blake Cherry. 3rd of the match for Carson-Newman, and it's 5-2. One of the blocks, talking about that a little bit. LMU got the first 2 of the match. Carson-Newman has had the last 4. That presence at the net has been there for Carson-Newman as Blake Cherry serves it back row. Pickett sets up, Mooring with a big swing, but she pushed it too far. Point Carson-Newman. An attacking error for Kristen Mooring. That's her 4th error of the night. Does have 5 kills, but the errors have been a bit of an issue for the all-conference selection as Cherry tees up the serve. Mooring receives, Pickett sets far side, big swing by Kessler, but another block by Carson-Newman. It's Kieran and Osmus who combine for the block. It's block number 5. 7-2 the score. LMU needs a timeout. We'll be back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back here at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman has the lead 7-2 here in the second set over Lincoln Memorial. Two in-state rivals squaring off for the SAC opener here on the Eagle Sports Network. Taylor, Kieran, and Emerson Osmus block sent us into timeouts. Talked about it right before the break. LMU had the first 2 blocks. Carson-Newman has set the tone of the net with the last 5 blocks of the match. Cherry serves. Pickett sets near side for Mooring, a big swing, but a nice dig by Bates. Blair Cherry sets far side for Kieran. She has to contort her body, and it goes out of play. Point LMU. Wilkerson will check in. Kessler checks out for LMU. As Wilkerson heads back to serve. Looked like Kieran got a little awkward of a jump there and pushed it a little bit wide. As Wilkerson tees up the serve. Got off the hands of Cherry and somehow got over the net for Carson-Newman. And it results in a point. Point Eagles. Like Blair Cherry put a little too much mustard on the reception there, but it gets over the net and results in a kill for Blake. 8-3 Eagles. Blair Cherry heads back to serve for Carson-Newman. This one a bump towards the net, but it goes over, and Taylor Kieran puts it down. And the Eagles lead 9-3. That time's very similar to the point before where it got off the hands of Blake Cherry with a little too much. That time Taylor Kieran took care of it right over the top of the net. And the Eagles lead to 6. Blair Cherry back to serve once again for Carson-Newman. Small get over for LMU. Blair Cherry sets in the middle for Kieran, who's going to put it down. Point Carson-Newman. With a violation on LMU that resulted in the point. Nonetheless, it's 10-3. Carson-Newman here in the second set. Cherry to serve once again for Carson-Newman. Back row for Mooring. Pickett sets near side. Meyer with the big swing. It gets off the hands of Bates. Point Rail Splitters. Much needed there for LMU. Carson-Newman was on a bit of a scoring run right there. Push the lead to 10-3. Now it's 10-4. With Meyer to serve for the Rail Splitters. Good start so far here in set number 2 for Carson-Newman. As Osmus receives the serve. Cherry sets right back up for Emerson Osmus. But it goes into the net. Point LMU. Osmus is looking for another one there. She's nearing double digits in the kill column. Having another good night assist-wise is Blair Cherry. She leads the team with 14 assists. Again, I mentioned to you that 50 assist double-double at Union as this serve will go past the back line off the hand of Meyer. Point Eagles. 11-5 as Carson-Newman gets a serve back. Osmus checks out. McCombs and Dzikowski checks in, as well as Bates heads to the bench. 11-5 Eagles with Bennett McCombs back to serve. Pickett sets near side. Mooring with a high jump. It's blocked to the net. Now McCombs, as Cherry's going to have to dump it over. Pickett sets it in the middle. Big swing by Bettel. And it goes down. Point LMU. Agata Bogdanska checks back in. Heading to the bench is Lauren Jacob. Carson-Newman's lead sits at 5. A bit of a similar start. Carson-Newman got out to a lead as this serve is going to go down. A service ace for LMU. It's Catherine Bettel with the service ace, and just like that, LMU's within 4. First ace of the match for Bettel. 4th overall for the Rail Splitters. McCombs receives the serve. Cherry sets up near side for Adams, who pokes it over, kept alive by Lincoln Memorial. Now a big swing by Bogdanska, and she'll put it down. Point Rail Splitters. 6th kill for Bogdanska in just 8 attacks. She's been efficient so far in this match, and LMU has it within 3. Looked like Taylor Adams thought to have it. She'd been blown dead. It was not, and LMU gets the point as Cherry will set it up towards the middle for Kieran, who puts down a big swing. Much needed point for Carson-Newman, and the Eagles get the serve back. Hurst checks in. Jacob checks back in for LMU. 12-8 your score. Carson-Newman with the lead. Going to even things up in the set column here in set number 2. This one bumped over by Lincoln Memorial. Carson-Newman can't handle it. Point rail splitters. Blake Cherry back in for Carson-Newman. Taylor Kieran checks out for LMU. It's Abigail Kessler to check back in. For Wilkerson. 12-9 the score. LMU gets the serve back. It's Lauren Pickett to serve. Blair Cherry sets up far side, and Dzikowski with a big swing, but a block at the net. Point Lincoln Memorial. There's Bogdanska at the net with the block to make it 12-10. Bogdanska has been everywhere on the court this evening as Blake Cherry receives it towards Blair Cherry. Dzikowski has to get it over. Pickett sets up near side. Mooring. It's blocked but kept alive by LMU. Now Hurst has to get it over. Pickett near side. Mooring. It comes with a nice dig. Now Blair Cherry near side for Taylor Adams. And LMU doing a good job of getting a piece of it in the net. And it's right towards Agata Bogdanska, who cannot be stopped. And gets her 7th kill of the match. LMU back within 1. It's 12-11. LMU has found itself in a hole early in both sets, but has dug its way out. And it has the set number 2 within 1. Pickett to Bogdanska. That time she's denied at the net. Now Mooring near side. Sherry with the dig. McCombs bumps it far side. Dzikowski. Kept alive by LMU. A nice dig by Pickett. McCombs bumps it near side. Adams, a big swing, gets off the hands of Jacob. And Taylor Adams gets herself a much-needed kill. It's 13-11. Adams will check out. Trinity Hafey checks in for Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams now has 4 kills on the evening. Emerson Osmus still leads the Eagles with 7. As Hafey tees up the serve. Back row Jacob. Pickett sets far side. Mooring, a huge swing, and it goes down. Point Lincoln Memorial. Carson-Newman had the blockers set up on the far side, but Mooring overpowered them. And it gives LMU gets LMU within 1. 13-12 the score. Cherry sets. Near side, Hurst, a huge swing. The lefty will put it down off the hands of Jacob. Point Carson-Newman. In comes Osmus and Bates. Hurst tallies her 4th kill. The southpaw put it down off the hands of Lauren Jacob, and Carson-Newman pushes the lead back out to 2. Here's Cameron Bates to serve. Pickett sets up far side. Big swing by Meyer. And it goes down. Point LMU. A block attempt for Carson-Newman, but it went wide. It's Kessler actually on the far side. Gets her 6th kill of the match. LMU's back once again within 1. Here's Jacob to serve. Back row Bates. Blair Cherry sets far side. Emerson Osmus puts it down on the back line. Point Carson-Newman. Looked like she didn't get it at the peak of her jump. Or put just enough on it for it to sit nicely on the back line. And she has her 8th kill in the match. 15-13 Eagles. The libero Blake Cherry to serve. And this one will go past the back line. Point Lincoln Memorial. Another service error for Carson-Newman. That's now 3. As Wilkerson checks back in. Kessler heads to the bench. Reagan Wilkerson will head back to serve. Huge set in this volleyball match. The serve by Wilkerson. Nice job by Bates to keep it in play. Osmus has to dump it over. Pickett sets up for Mooring, who tries to roll it to the back line. Cherry able to dig it. Now Kieran with a big swing. It goes wide towards LMU's bench. Point rail splitters. Attacking here, I believe that was Taylor Kieran. As we're all evened up at 15 apiece. Next serve for Wilkerson. Goes back row to Bates. Bird Cherry sets far side. Osmus able to get it over. Nice dig by Meyer. Now set up in the middle for Mooring as it goes off the top of the net and down. Point Lincoln Memorial. The rail splitters have the lead now at 16-15. Kristen Moore got off to a little bit of a slow start, but she's picked it up. She's up to 6 kills on the evening. She'll make that 7. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry sets up for Taylor Kieran, who gets it off the hands of a rail splitter. Point Eagles. Adams checks in for Hayfia as Eagles have tied things back up at 16. 16 apiece here in set number 2. Lincoln Memorial leads 1-0 after a thrilling 26-24 first set win. Blair Cherry tees up the serve, back row. And it goes off the hands of Mooring and on a play. Service ace for Blair Cherry, and Carson-Newman's back in front. First service ace for Cherry to add on to her 18 assists so far this evening. This back row for Mooring. Set up near side, Meyer with a big swing. Nice dig by Bates to keep it alive. A play at the net. Kieran able to keep it alive. Blair Cherry uses her elbow. Now Osmus with a big swing. She scores. A little bit of improvising from Carson-Newman at the net as Blair Cherry stuck at her elbow to keep it alive off the deflection by Taylor Kieran. And it found its way to Emerson Osmus, who scores her 9th of the night, and it's 18-16. Blair Cherry serves and pushes it past the back line. A service error for the Eagles. To quiet this gym down a little bit, got loud after Emerson Osmus got that impressive kill. Now it's 18-17, Eagles still out in front. Meyer to serve for the rail splitters. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry at the net sets up for Kieran, who rolls it over. A shot by LMU to keep it alive. Now Mooring a big swing at the net, goes off the hands of Adam and Kieran. And Point Lincoln Memorial all knotted up at 18. Starting to feel very reminiscent of the first set. These two teams were very back and forth. Even though Carson-Newman had the lead most of the set, it's only by a point or two. Osmus receives the serve. Now near side set for Osmus, who deflected off the hands of Mooring and Meyer. And Mooring and Battle, and that's the 10th kill of the night for Emerson Osmus. And she gets a much-needed breather. Dzikowski and McCombs check back in. Bates also heads to the bench. Carson-Newman retakes the lead, 19-18 on Emerson Osmus. 10th kill of the night. She's been great, leading all scorers with 10. As McCombs sets up the serve. Back row for Jacob. Pickett sets up for Mooring. McCombs with a nice dig. She gets out of the way. Dzikowski bumps it to Adams. Back row dig for Meyer. Now Pickett towards Meyer, who tried to bump it over the net, but it goes wide. Point Carson-Newman. Eagles once again the first team to 20 as LMU burns a timeout. 20-18 Eagles lead, looking to close out the second set and even the score at 1 apiece here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse in what has been a lively crowd atmosphere this evening. Seeing a lot of Carson-Newman athletes coming out to support the women's volleyball program. Pretty sizable student section, if you're watching towards the right over there, almost all the way filled up to the top. And a great crowd on hand tonight it's been a great college volleyball match. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman leads LMU 20-18 here in set number 2. Lincoln Memorial took the first set 26-24, but this is also panning out to be a good one as McCombs tees up the serve. Back row for Meyer. Pickett sets near side Mooring. A big swing that goes off the hands of Blake Cherry. Good response out of the timeout for LMU. It's 20-19. Jacob checks in. The presence at the net, Agata Bogdanska, checks back in. As Catherine Bettle will serve for the Rail Splitters. Cherry sets up in the middle for Kieran, and right on cue, Agata Bogdanska gets the block, and it goes down. Point Lincoln Memorial. 20 apiece as Bogdanska continues to impress. It's another block. It's 20 all. Bettle with the serve once again, but this time she pushes it too far. Point Eagles. Another unforced error for Lincoln Memorial as Jacob checks in, Bettle checks out. Hurst checks in for the Eagles. Blake Cherry heads to the bench. As Taylor Kieran serves for the Eagles. Kieran tees up the serve. Back row for Mooring. Pickett sets near side. Mooring a big swing. Goes off the chest of Dzikowski and down. Point LMU. Kessler back in for Lincoln Memorial. McCombs checks in for the Eagles as things are once again now they back up at 21 apiece. Stop if you heard it before, but there's been quite a few ties here in this one. 13 in the first set, and we're probably nearing that number here in the second. Blair Cherry sets up near side. Big swing by Adams. Nice dig by Kessler on the front row. Now Mooring. Blair Cherry far side. Dzikowski, and she's blocked in the net. Agata Bogdanska has been there all night. Carson-Newman keeps trying to overpower her, but to no avail. As it's now 22-21 LMU. Make that the 5th block assist for Agata Bogdanska. Dzikowski checks out. For the first time tonight, we'll see a new Eagle into the match. It's Kylie Oldenburger as this serve for LMU goes past the back line. Point Eagles. Trinity Afey checks in. Taylor Adams checks down as Oldenburger, the grad student out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, comes in here at the end of set number 2. 22 apiece between Carson-Newman and LMU. We had a really tightly contested first set. It's been the same here in set number 2. Afey sends it back row. Pickett sets far side. Mooring rolls it over. Now Cherry. First with a swing. Nice dig by Jacob. Now Cherry will dump it over. Jacob sticks out her foot. Can't get a piece of it. And Carson-Newman retakes a lead. Blair Cherry gets another well-timed roll or dump over the net. And it's her second kill of the evening. Down on to 19 assists. She's been excellent for Carson-Newman as the Eagles have the lead. It's 23-22. Afey back row. Set far side. Mooring gets off the hands of Blake Cherry. Still alive. McCombs keeps alive, and it goes towards the net. And it doesn't quite get there. How about the stick-to-itiveness of Bennett McCombs? Went off the blue sky eagle print behind the basketball goal. McCombs was able to keep it alive. But it doesn't quite get to the net. Mooring serves is 23 apiece. Cherry dumps it over off the hands of Mooring. Lincoln Memorial's coach, John Cash, tried to keep it in play himself as he shares a little laugh with the home crowd. It's 24-23 Eagles as Blair Cherry gets another timely kill. Set point for Carson-Newman trying to knock this match up at 1 apiece. Bates with the serve. Back row Jacob. Pickett tries to keep it alive to Bogdanska. She does. Blair Cherry for Hurst, who puts it down and scores. The set goes to Carson-Newman off the kill from the freshman Maddie Hurst. And it's 1 set apiece here in Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman deals Lincoln Memorial its first set loss of the season. And we're all tied up at 1 heading to set number 3. Been in so far, stay along for the ride. Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial tied up at 1. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse for what's been a lot of fun here in the first match of the season at Holt. It's 1-1 between Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial here on the Eagle Sports Network. Had an exciting first set, equally exciting second set. Both sets have been decided by 2 points apiece. Carson-Newman wins set number 2, 25-23 after dropping the first one, 26-24. 8 ties, 5 lead changes in the second set compared to 13 ties. 3 lead changes in the first. So overall, we got 21 ties and 8 lead changes here in this match between conference rivals Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial here on the Eagle Sports Network. Hope you all are enjoying tonight's broadcast wherever you may be watching from. Hope you're having as much fun as I am as Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial ready to go for set number 3. Looking at some of the stats, Emerson Osmus in double digits with kills. She has 10. Kristen Mooring has 11 of her own and 29 attacks, living up to her all-conference selection from a year ago. Agdata Bogdanska has been a presence at the net. For the Rail Squirters, 5 blocks and 7 kills for number 18 in blue. We've had quite a few standout performances tonight. Maddie Hurst has 5 kills for Carson-Newman. 2 blocks down on that. Taylor Kieran, 5 kills and 3 blocks. Taylor Adams has 4 kills. Annie Dizikowski has 1. And Blair Cherry has 3. She's had a couple of timely dumps over the net that have resulted in points. Cherry also up to 20 assists. She had a pair of 40-plus assist performances and then a 50-assist performance in the final match of the Union Invitational. She had 50 in that final match. As we're back ready to go for set number 3. Home crowd's been engaged. Hope you're having a great time at home or wherever you're watching from as Myers sends the serve over. McCombs rolls it over. Pickett sets up far side, Mooring a big swing, and it goes off the hands of Cherry and Hurst. Point Lincoln Memorial. Quick housekeeping note on the Carson-Newman side of things. Bennett McCombs now wearing the libero jersey for the Eagles. Lauren Jacobs still in the white libero uniform for Lincoln Memorial. Blake Cherry now wearing the white number 22. As Blair sets it up far side, Hurst gets off the hands of Jacob and goes down. Point Carson-Newman. Another kill for Maddie Hurst. She's up to 6 on the evening. Another one of those freshman contributors we've talked about. It's been the trio of Annie Dizikowski, Maddie Hurst, and Emerson Osmus. Played a big role for the Eagles here in this early season. Nice mix of young talent and experience here on this Carson-Newman team. As Blake Cherry sends a serve over, Pickett sets up at the net for Bettle. Cherry near side set for Osmus, who rolls it over. Pickett now far side Mooring, a whistle and a carrying violation on Lincoln Memorial. Point Carson-Newman. Eagles retake the lead 2-1 very early here in set number 3. Just joining us, both the first and the second sets have come within 2 points apiece. 26-24 Lincoln Memorial in set number 1, 25-23 Carson-Newman in the second set. Pickett bump far side, Mooring a big swing. McCombs keeps it alive with the dig. Now Osmus middle of the back row for Blake Cherry. Pickett to Mooring, a big swing. Great dig by Blake Cherry. Now near side, Osmus pokes it over. Mooring kept it alive for a moment, but out of reach of Lauren Jacob. Point Carson-Newman. Maddie Hurst gets herself another kill. Make that 7 for the freshman. 2 freshmen top the score sheet for Carson-Newman. Osmus with 11 kills. Hurst with 7. As Blake Cherry back to serve once again for the Eagles. This one gets over the net. Off the hands of Jacob and down. Service ace for Blake Cherry. Point Carson-Newman, and it's 4-1. Cherry back to serve once again for the Eagles. A nice little stretch here. Carson-Newman has scored the last 4 to make it 4-1. Served by Cherry. Pickett at the net. Osmus got a piece of it, but is kept alive by the Eagles. Now Mooring, back row, great dig by Blake Cherry to her sister Blair. Play at the net, but a net violation on Lincoln Memorial. That was Lauren Pickett that got the top of the net, and it's 5-1. 5-1 Eagles. Cherry retains the serve for the Eagles. She sends it over, actually goes to the net. It's a service error for Carson-Newman. And Lincoln Memorial gets a much needed break as Agata Bogdanska checks back in. Checking out is Lauren Jacob. See how the Eagles try to attack. They got a Bogdanska at the net. Again, Bogdanska has 5 blocks in the evening, 5 block assists, excuse me. As Cherry sets up far side. Hirsch tries to poke it over. LMU keeps it alive. Pickett far side, now Mooring. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry sets near side for Osmus, who slams it down off the hands of Pickett and Bogdanska. Point Carson-Newman. Carson-Newman had success there attacking Pickett and Bogdanska at the net. Those opportunities have seemed few and far between, but it worked that time. And Carson-Newman's lead is 6-2. Bennett McCombs to serve. Jacob receives on the back row. Pickett sets far side for Mooring, who tries to roll it over. Carson-Newman was right there. Now Meyer. Dig back row for Trinity Hafey. Cherry sets up in the middle for Kieran, who puts it down and scores. Point Carson-Newman. It's 7-2 off Taylor Kieran, 6th kill, and Lincoln Memorial is going to have to burn an early timeout. Eagles with a 5-point lead as we head into a short break. We'll be back here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, it's 7-2 Eagles here in set number 3. Carson-Newman in the midst of a 6-1 scoring run. It's been all Eagles here in set number 3 so far, but that's kind of been the trend so far. Carson-Newman has gotten out to a great start. Lincoln Memorial has battled back, reeled things in, and made things really interesting at the end. It's 1-1 in sets between the Eagles and the Rail Splitters here on the Eagles Sports Network, as Bennett McCombs will serve for Carson-Newman. We went to timeout after Taylor Kieran got herself another kill. She's up to 6 on the evening to tie for second on the score sheet for the Eagles. McCombs serves. Pickett sets up in the middle for Bogdanska, who pushes it too far. Point Carson-Newman. A rare mistake for Agata Bogdanska, whose hitting percentage was well over 500 at 583 for that miss. First attacking error for Bogdanska, and Carson-Newman's lead is 8-2. McCombs serves, goes off the hands of Jacob. Point Carson-Newman. It's a service ace for Bennett McCombs. 9-2 Carson-Newman as McCombs records her second service ace of the night. Eagles still with the serve as McCombs goes back to tee it up. This one will go too far past the back line. Point Lincoln Memorial. Back in comes Abigail Kessler. She'll check in for Reagan Wilkerson. As LMU gets the serve back, Lauren Pickett heads back to do the honors. 9-3 Carson-Newman. The Eagles wrap up with a 7-2 scoring run. As this one goes past the back line. Good eyes by Trinity Hafey to watch that one soar past the back line. As Adams checks back in, Hafey checks out. The Eagles lead goes back out to 7. It's 10-3. Blair Cherry to serve for the Eagles. And you can tell if you're listening or watching what kind of environment is here at Carson-Newman at Holt Fieldhouse as Cherry gets this one off the top of the net, set for Bogdanska in the middle, but she pushes it wide. She'll get it down on the sideline. Looked wide from here, but goes down on the sideline. That's Bogdanska's 8th kill tonight. Point Lincoln Memorial. Couldn't tell the initial ruling on that one, but Bogdanska paints the sideline, but LMU's going to give it right back. Service error by Kristen Mooring, and the Eagles lead goes back to 7. Cameron Bates checks in for Emerson Auspice. She will serve. Carson-Newman has kind of kept LMU at arm's length so far here in set number 3. Big set here. Whoever takes the lead will be looking to end things in set 4. As the lefty Bates Sends it back row for Jacob. Pickett sets far side. Big swing by Meyer. It's blocked by the Eagle. Taylor Kieran and Taylor Adams combine. Once again, Taylor squared. Strike for a block. 12-4, Carson-Newman. The Eagles take their biggest lead here in set number 3. Another block for Carson-Newman. That's number 6. Both teams have had a presence at the net. It's really been Agata Bogdanska for LMU. Carson-Newman's had a few perform at the net. As this one is blocked once again. Abigail Kessler attacked. And it looked like it was Blake Cherry and Taylor Kieran. Back-to-back blocks for Carson-Newman make the lead 13-4. Bates will serve once again for the Eagles. Carson-Newman looking for a double-digit advantage. Jacob able to keep the serve alive off the top of the net. Now a swing by Kessler, gets it through Kieran and Cherry. Far side now for Adams. Pickett with the dig. Now Jacob towards the net for Meyer. Blocked to the net once again. A great dig by Kessler to keep it alive. And Meyer tries to roll it over, but it's going to be a violation on LMU. Double-digit lead now for Carson-Newman. A net violation on the Rail Splitters as it's now 14-4. Eagles really looking to take control of this third set and take the lead in sets. Bates, too far, goes past the back line. Service error for Cameron Bates, Point Lincoln Memorial. Unforced error by the Eagles, and maybe a bit of a break for Lincoln Memorial. Looked like Carson-Newman really had some momentum there. As Lauren Jacob will serve. Benema comes on the back row towards Blair Cherry, who once again works her magic, dumps it over the net. Point Carson-Newman. She's so convincing with her eyes. Makes you think she's going to set. Then she just rolls it over in between the middle blockers for LMU. Carson-Newman's lead is back to 10. Kieran serves. Blake Cherry towards Blair. In the middle for Hurst. Goes off the hands of the middle blockers and down. Point Carson-Newman. 16-5 and another timeout for Lincoln Memorial. It's been all Eagles here in set number 3. 16-5. We'll take a quick break and be right back here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman trying to run away with his third set at 16-5 here on the Eagles Sports Network. Coming back after break, it was a Maddie Hurst kill right after a Blair Cherry kill on that dump. Almost compare it to a pump fake in basketball. Blair Cherry is so convincing with her eyes to make you think she's going to set. She's so good at that. You got to honor that, but also she's making that dump quite the threat. Here in set number 3, 16-5 the score. Carson-Newman and Taylor Kieran will serve. As Kieran tees it up. Back row for Mooring. Pickett near side now. Bates able to keep it alive, but she goes under the net. Point Lincoln Memorial. Wilkerson's going to check in. Kessler will check out. And Wilkerson will head back to serve. 16-6 the score. Lincoln Memorial regains the serve. They need a little run here to stave off the Eagles. In set number 3. Back row for Bates. Blair Cherry sets far side. Big swing by Taylor Adams off the hands of Meyer and Bettel. Point Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams tallies another kill as she heads to the bench. 5 kills now for Adams. Trinity Hayfie takes her spot, and she'll head back to serve. 17-6 Eagles. Carson-Newman retains a double-digit advantage. As Hayfie serves. Pickett sets in the middle. Big swing by Bettle, and she'll put it down off the hands of Bennett McCombs. Point LMU. 4th kill for Bettle. So now Megan Meyer heads back to serve. Still a 10-point advantage for Carson-Newman. Back row for Hayfie. Blair Cherry dumps it over her head. Nice awareness by Jacob to keep it alive. A big swing by Morin towards Cameron Bates in the back row. McCombs gets it towards the net. Blair Cherry rolls it over. And the point continues. Mooring far side. Blair Cherry will roll it over again. Jacob kept it alive for a moment, but couldn't for long. Point Carson-Newman, another kill for Blair Cherry. She's so sneaky with those dumps. As Bates checks out, Emerson Osmond checks back in. 6th kill for Blair Cherry to add on to 27 assists. Blair near another double-double. As Blake Cherry serves, Pickett sets at the net. Nice dig on the back row by Hayfie. Now Osmus with a big swing. Pickett sets far side, Morin. Dig by Bennett McCombs right to Blair Cherry on the far side. Comes back near side for Osmus. It's deflected a couple times and goes down. Point Carson-Newman. 14 kills for the freshman Emerson Osmus, and it's 19-7. Blake Cherry will serve for the Eagles. Jacob, far side for Mooring. Blake Cherry sets to assist for Blair, near side. Now it's going to be Hurst with a big swing. The southpaw scores, and it's 20-7. It's been all Carson-Newman here in set number 3, who looks to take a 2-1 set lead and bring themselves 1 set away from their 3rd win of the season. Blake Cherry will serve. Pickett sets in the middle for Bettle. Stayed by Hayfie on the back run. Now in the middle for Blake Cherry, a big swing. And it's out of play. Point LMU. Lincoln Memorial back on the scoreboard. As Bettle will head back to serve. Carson-Newman has been impressive tonight, a .330 hit percentage, limiting the attacking errors. As Cherry sets far side for Hurst, and she's blocked. It's Bogdanska again. She'd been quiet for a little while, but she makes her presence known right there, combining with Christian Mooring on the block. She's talking about how Carson-Newman had kind of limited the attacking errors, one right there to make it 20-9. As Bettle serves, this one goes wide past the far sideline. Point Eagles. Lincoln Memorial had scored the last 2 points, was gaining a little bit of traction. It's all wiped away right there with the service error as Taylor Kieran checks back in. Maddie Hirsch checks out. Bennett McCombs will serve. Again, mentioned she now donning the libero jersey. She serves and pushes it far past the back line. Back-to-back service errors, 1 for each side, and it's 21-10. Wilkerson checks out. Back in is Abigail Kessler. Carson-Newman still with a convincing 21-10 lead, looking to close things out. Really the first non-competitive set we've had in this match. As Blair Cherry sets it near side. Emerson Osmond, a big swing. She's blocked. Guess who? Agata Bogdanska combining with Abigail Kessler. And it's 21-11. I think that's 7 block assists for Agata Bogdanska. Quite the game for her so far. Pickett serves back row to Hayfie. Comes, bumps it towards the net. It's Cherry to roll it over. Now Pickett set in the middle for Bogdanska. Big swing with a nice dig by Blake Cherry. Now Osmus right back to Bogdanska, and she puts it down. Point LMU. A one-woman wrecking crew out on the volleyball court right now. Agata Bogdanska with 9 block assists, 8 block assists so far this evening. She continues to impress. Lincoln Memorial still with a hill to climb. It's 21-12. Blair Cherry near side for Osmus, who that time creatively flicks it over the top of Bogdanska and Kessler. Point Eagles. Adams checks in for Hafey after a really nice play. Smart play from the freshman to adjust and roll that one over the top of the reach of Bogdanska. And Carson-Newman now just 3 points away from closing out set 3. Pickett sets in the middle for Bogdanska. Big swing. It's tipped in the net, kept alive by the Eagles. Far side, Adams blocked, but it's out of bounds. Point Eagles. Bogdanska once again got a piece of it. It goes wide past the far sideline. It's either Adams or Kieran that got that kill. We'll wait on the official ruling. I think it was Kieran. Nonetheless, Carson-Newman 2 points away from a set 3 win. Pickett, far side. Kessler rolls it over. Kieran able to keep it alive. McCombs dumps it over and finds the back line. Point Carson-Newman. What a job by Taylor Kieran to keep it alive. McCombs saw nobody was near the back line. She pushed it right through the back row defense. And the Eagles now at set point. Blair Cherry serves. And this one goes in the bottom of the net. Point LMU. Cherry knows, wishes she could have that one back. Nonetheless, Eagles still lead by 11. Kristen Mooring back to serve for the Rail Splitters. Back row McCombs. Cherry sets up in the middle for Kieran. A big swing kept alive by LMU. Bogdanska to Meyer. It's blocked in the net. Kieran and Adams combine. Point Carson-Newman. The set goes to the Eagles, and it's 2-1 as we go to set number 4. A convincing set 3 victory, 25-13. The Eagles win the third set. We go to set number 4, 2-1 Carson-Newman. We'll be back here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, set number 4 on the way. Carson-Newman leads at Lincoln Memorial 2-1 here on the Eagles Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes taking you through all your coverage this evening. Eagles with a dominant third set win, 25-13. Talked about the ties and the lead changes through the first 2 sets. 21 between set number 1 and set number 2. Both of those decided by 2 points apiece. Also 8 lead changes in those 2 sets, but in the third, Both of them were early, but it was one time, one lead change. Both coming very early on this set. Carson-Newman really dominated as we take a look at the updated stats. Carson-Newman has Emerson Osmus leading the way, 15 kills on 27 attacks, a .444 hit percentage. Maddie Hurst with 8, Taylor Kieran with 6, Taylor Adams with 6 as well. Blair Cherry has 5, all of those creative dumps, and she also has 30 assists to her tally, 5 kills away from another double-double. Also has 5 digs to add to her tally. Kristen Mooring leads away for LMU with 12 kills. Agata Bogdanska has had 8. Abigail Kessler with 6. Catherine Bettel with 4. Megan Meyer with 3 to lead the way for LMU. So Lincoln Memorial trying to keep this one alive. Also, Lauren Pickett has had herself a night with 29 assists. Only one off from Blair Cherry, who has 30 on the evening. 2 exciting sets. Third one, pretty easy work for Carson-Newman, looking to close things out here in set number 4. Talk about the last 2 matchups between these 2 teams coming last year. Both went to 5 sets. LMU looking to keep that trend alive this evening. Trinity Hayfie will serve for Carson-Newman to start this 4th set. Back row goes off the hands of Jacob and down. Service ace for Trinity Hayfie, point Carson-Newman. Talk about the absence of McKenna Hall this evening. Trinity Hayfie has seemed to step very nicely into that role and doing what McKenna Hall does well with the service ace right there, making it 1-0 Eagles. Hayfie back row, Jacob that time. Now to Mooring. Blair Cherry in the middle for Osmus. A big swing off the hands of Bettel at the net. Now Pickett sets for Bettel. Dig on the back row for McCombs. Blair Cherry far side to Blake. Kept alive by LMU. Now near side Mooring. Hayfie with the dig. McCombs far side to Blake Cherry. A big swing. Nice dig on the back row by Sydney Lang, who just entered. But he gets off the hands of another rail splitter and goes down. Point Carson-Newman, a kill for Blake Cherry. Second kill of the night for Blake in her 6th attack. Blake has 15 digs on the evening. She's done a great job. Mostly on the back row so far tonight, but she's got a kill right there. Hayfie back to serve. Carson-Newman has the 2-0 advantage early here in set number 4. Hayfie serves. Almost gets the back line. Did it? Yes, it did. Hayfie splits the rail splitters who are watching that one, hoping it was going to go out, but it paints the back line, and Trinity Hayfie has her 2nd service ace in her turn so far here in set number 4. 3-0 Eagles. Pickett sets up in the net. Now Blair Cherry, far side for Blake. Big swing, kept alive. And Lincoln Memorial keeps in the play. Nice dig by Wilkerson, now dumped over. They're going to call a carry on LMU, point Carson-Newman. A 4-0 run out of the gates. 2 points coming on Trinity Hayfie service aces. And the Eagles lead 4-0. Hayfie ready to serve for Carson-Newman. She's doing a nice run here to start this 4th set. Jacob receives it. Pickett has to go back to retrieve it. Mooring gets it over. Blair Cherry will dump it. This time LMU ready for it. Pickett sets up in the middle for Mooring. Nice deflection by Hurst and Cherry. Now Cherry sets far side to her sister Blake. Kept alive for the moment. Now Jacob has to dump it over. Cherry sets up in the middle for Hurst. And a violation called on LMU. Point Carson-Newman. 5-0 Eagles. As Trinity Hayfie continues to serve. Big swing by Hurst. It looked like LMU was a little too far in on the net there. Carson-Newman jumped out to a good start here in set number 4, looking to close out. It's in-state rival Lincoln Memorial. This time Hayfie pushes it past the back line. Lincoln Memorial gets a much-needed break. It's 5-1. Agata Bogdanska back in. She'll check in for Lauren Jacob. Catherine Bettel will serve for the first time here in set number 4 for Lincoln Memorial. She tees it up. Back row for Trinity Hayfie. Blair Cherry sets up in the middle for Hurst, who slams it down. Point Carson-Newman. A loud swing by Maddie Hurst. Got it at the peak of her jump. And she gets a kill. Her 9th of the evening. She can make that number 10. She's now in double digits for Carson-Newman, joining fellow freshman Emerson Osmus. As Blake Cherry tees up the serve, Jacob back in, receives it. Now in the middle for a lay, and she pushes it too far. Point Eagles. 7-1 Carson-Newman off an attacking error from Sydney Lay, who just entered here in the fourth set. Blake Cherry back to serve once again for Carson-Newman. Eagles lead 7-1. Back row off the hands of laying down. Point Eagles. Blake Cherry with the service ace, and that signals an LMU timeout. 8-1 Eagles. Carson-Newman picked up right where it left off after a dominant set 3 win. Carson-Newman's lead is 7. We head to a break here on the Eagle Sports Network. Eight to 1 Carson-Newman for the first 9 points of set 4. Carson-Newman leads 2-1 here on the Eagle Sports Network over in-state rival Lincoln Memorial. Coming in this match, Lincoln Memorial was 3-0, hadn't really been challenged. Had won all 9 sets, only allowed 20 points once. Tonight, Carson-Newman has kind of flipped the script on them a little bit. They scored 20 plus in all 3 sets, held LMU to 13 in the third set win. First 2 sets were very tightly contested. Carson-Newman pulled away in set 3 and has a sizable 7-point early advantage here in the fourth. Blake Cherry back out to start for Carson-Newman out of the timeout. Jacob receives. Pickett has to go back to retrieve it. Now Mooring near side. Nice dig by McCombs on the back row. Set up in the middle for Cherry, who rolls it over the top of Bogdanska. Hurst over the top of the net. Pickett keeps it alive. Big swing from Mooring. Back row for Blake Cherry. Now Blair Cherry to Maddie Hurst in the middle. And they're going to call it a carry on Maddie Hurst. Point LMU. Abigail Kessler checks back in. Reagan Wilkerson heads out. As LMU gets a much-needed point. See head coach Kat Collins out there, her first match as head coach for the Eagles. First-year head coach, led the women's beach volleyball program in a successful tenure. Blair Cherry sets up near side. Maddie Hurst, a big swing off the hands of Bogdanska and Mooring. Point Eagles. Maddie Hurst with another kill, her 12th. Has not been an easy ball to penetrate between Mooring and Bogdanska this evening, but Maddie Hurst with a powerful swing there to poke it through the 2. As the Eagles lead is back to 7. Pickett set up far side. Mooring a big swing. They're going to call a net violation on Kristen Mooring. Point Carson-Newman. Eagles. 10-2, Carson-Newman with the advantage. As Bennett McCombs will serve. She'll push it a little too far past the back row. Point LMU. 10-3 your score with Kristen Mooring heading back to serve. Carson-Newman looking to take advantage of a 2-1 set advantage. And finish off Lincoln Memorial here in set number 4. Blair Cherry set far side to Emerson Osmus. And the block attempt goes out of bounds. Point Carson-Newman. Adams checks back in for Trinity Hafey after the Emerson Osmus kill. And the Eagles lead 11-3. Blair Cherry to serve. Back row for Meyer. Pickett sets far side. Big swing by Kessler. Nice dig by Cherry on the back row. Now Adams, she'll push it too far. Try and go opposite court. Point LMU. Talking about the freshman, Emerson Osmus has been dominant tonight. 16 kills and 8 digs to add to that as his serve by Jacob goes out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Another 11 kills for Maddie Hurst as Bates checks in for Osman. She'll get a breather. It's been the youth of this team that has been impressive so far, especially here in this home opener. Amy Dzikowski's had a good season so far as well. She only has 1 kill tonight, but she's effective on the road at Union. Carson-Newman this season will bank on a mix of youth and experience as Jacob bumps it near side for Meyer. Blair Cherry far side to Blake, and she'll push it out of bounds in front of the LMU bench. Point rail splitters. Kessler checks out. Back in is Reagan Wilkerson. 12-5 your score. Carson-Newman still with a 7-point advantage. LMU trying to chip away a little bit. They have the serve right now. Combs receives it back row. Blair Cherry sets up in the middle for Kieran. A big swing off the hands of Wilkerson. Point Eagles. Taylor Kieran with another kill. She's up to 7. Hurst checks back in. McCombs checks out as Kieran heads back to serve. 13-5 your score. Carson-Newman 12 points away from moving to 3-1 on the season. Pickett sets up in the middle for Mooring. A big swing, but she pushes it past the back line. Point Eagles. Looks like LMU here starting to run out of gas just a little bit. It was a tightly contested, energy-packed first 2 sets. Carson-Newman dominated in set number 3, and that has carried over here into this 4th set. Guarantees up the serve, back row for Mooring. Pickett sets at the net, a big swing, and it's put down by Catherine Bettle. Right when we're talking about the gas of Lincoln Memorial and how it might be running out, Catherine Bettle says, not so fast, a big swing at the peak of her jump. And LMU has it back with an 8. Here's Meyer to serve. Blair Cherry near side. Taylor Adams, a big swing, but it's blocked by Mooring and Bettle. Point LMU. Mentioned both teams have had a steady presence at the net. That's the 9th block of the night for LMU. Goes to Mooring and Bettle. And LMU has cut the deficit back to 7. Meyer tees up the serve. Back row for Bates. Blair Cherry rolls it towards Blake on the far side. Nice dig by Jacob. Pickett sets up in the middle for Meyer, who pushes it far past the back line. Point Eagles. Hafey back in for Adams. 15-7 your score. Carson-Newman 10 points away from a sack opening victory. And Kat Collins' head coaching debut here at Carson-Newman. Hafey back row for Jacob. Pickett sets it up. Looked like Bettle tried to roll it over to no avail. Now Mooring. Back row McCombs, play at the net, kept alive by Carson-Newman, but it goes out of play, out of the reach of Trinity Hafey. Point LMU. Bogdanska checks back in. Jacob checks out. Scores 15-8. LMU still in this thing, but it's going to need a little run here late. As Bettle gets ready to tee up the serve. Really great crowd on hand. It's thinned out a little bit as we've gone down the stretch here in this game. It's getting kind of late, 8:40 p.m. local time. It's still a great showing here in game number 1 of the season here at Holt Fieldhouse. Hurst with a big swing off the set from Cherry, kept alive, dumped over by Pickett. Eagles were ready for it. Now a big swing by Bogdanska, a nice dig by Bates that rolls over. Bogdanski's blocked at the net, but it's kept alive by Wilkerson. Near side now Mooring. Pickett set for Bogdanska, a big swing, and it goes down. Point LMU. Bogdanska nearing double digits in kills. She has 9, and LMU is within 6. Agata Bogdanska got off to a hot start. The Eagles cooled her off a little bit, but she's really been a presence at the net all night long. 8 blocks and 9 kills as Hafey receives a serve on the back row. Set far side for Blake Cherry. Dig by Wilkerson. Near side Mooring. She puts it into the net. Point Carson-Newman. Mooring tried to go cross court. Did not have success, and the Eagles back on the board at 16-9. Osmus checks back in for the Eagles. Bates heads to the bench. As Blake Cherry go back to serve. Back row, now Pickett sets it up. Bogdanska, big swing off the chest of McCombs. It rolls over. Pickett goes near side, Mooring. Off the hands of Cherry. Point, LMU. Here comes Kessler to check back in for Wilkerson as Pickett goes back to serve. LMU keeping this thing interesting at 16-10, and Eagles need 9 points to secure the win, but not much margin for error for LMU here late as Pickett serves. Blake Cherry back row. Blair tried to roll it over, put it into the net. An attack error, point LMU. The deficit now 5. LMU looking to steal this set and push it to a 5th. Still some work left to do as Pickett tees up the serve. Back row, Blake Cherry. Trinity Hayfie bumps it towards the net. Big swing from Hirsch. She's blocked, but she keeps it alive. Blair Cherry now goes far side for Osmus. Dig by Mooring, near or far side. Kessler, a big swing. Now Cherry sets it up in the middle for Hirsch. Back row, Pickett keeps it alive. Now far side, Kessler. She's blocked. Jacob near side, Mooring. Gets it over the row, defense, and it goes down the far sideline. Point LMU. Mooring got it past both lines of the defense there and found the far corner. And Lincoln Memorial is within 4, 16-12. Pickett serves. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair sets it up far side. Osmus, a big swing. Dig by Jacob. Pickett sets it up for Mooring near side. She's blocked by Cherry and Hurst. Point Carson-Newman. The energy injected back into this gym as LMU was slowly but surely creeping back into it. But Cherry and Hurst had something to say about that at 17-12. McCombs to serve for Carson-Newman. Pickett sets it up far side, Mooring a big swing. Carson-Newman knocks it down the net. Now Jacob goes near side for Kessler. Kieran bumps it to Osmus, who tries to go cross court. A great dig by Kessler. Now far side, Mooring a big swing. Goes off the hands of Hayfie and it's scored. Point LMU. Nice sequence defensively by the Rail Splitters. Kessler kept it alive. And then Mooring with a big swing. And LMU has this thing back to a 4-point deficit. Mooring goes back row with the serve. Hayfie receives. Now Cherry sets it up for Kieran. Goes off the hands of Bogdanska and Meyer into the net. Point Carson-Newman. 18-13 as Adams checks back in for Hayfie. And Carson-Newman gets a serve back for Blair Cherry. Cherry to serve for Carson-Newman. It's a 5-point lead here in set number 4. Far side, Kessler. Cherry keeps it alive at the net. Kieran has to roll it over. Pickett sets up in the middle for Bogdanska, who gets a piece of it, not strong enough as McCombs keeps it alive on the back row. Now Blake Cherry with a big swing going towards the basketball goal. Almost goes in, but it's a point for the Eagles. I don't know if I've ever seen it get that close to the rim. Almost went in there. I think you could argue that should result in extra points for Carson-Newman, but nonetheless, point Eagles, it's 19-13. Blair Cherry to serve. This one will go past the back line and out of play. Point LMU. Should make it 19-14. There's LMU back on the board. And the Memorial will serve down 5 here late in set 4. Blair Cherry sets up in the net, far side. Taylor Kieran, a big swing. Nice dig on the back row for Mooring. Now Meyer near side. Gets off the hands of Cherry. Kept alive by Blake Cherry. And McCombs will roll it over to keep it alive for Carson-Newman. Pickett sets up in the middle, a big swing. But kept alive by Carson-Newman once again. Far side, Osmus off the hands of Jacob and scored. Emerson Osmus with another kill. That's 17 on the evening. 20-14 your score as Carson-Newman 5 points away from victory. Stoppage in action here. Maybe checking on the scoreboard. And Holt reads 19 to 14, but live stats read 20 to 14. I'm pretty sure live stats have the correct score. Nonetheless, while we have a second, let's go over some of the stats here in this matchup. Again, as I mentioned, a presence at the net for both sides, 9 blocks apiece for both Carson-Newman and Lincoln Memorial. Leading the rail splitters and kills is Kristen Mooring with 15, justifying the all-conference selection that she received after last year. She's been impressive once again, has had 55 attacks, so Carson-Newman has done a nice job defensively. Only a 127 hit percentage. Agata Bogdanska has 9. Abigail Kessler with 3. With 6, Catherine Bettel with 6. Megan Meyer with 3 for LMU. In the assist department, it's Lauren Pickett that leads the way with 33. For Carson-Newman, in kills, it's Emerson Auspice, who has been nothing short of fantastic. 17 kills for Auspice. Only 3 errors and 33 attacks. Pretty stellar 424 hitting percentage. She has 2 blocks as well. 2 block assists, 8 digs to her total tonight. So she's 2 digs away from a double-double here in her first game at Holt Fieldhouse. Pretty good out of the freshman. Maddie Hurst has been impressive as well. She has double-digit kills with 11 and 22 attacks. Another stellar hitting percentage at 409. Taylor Kieran with 8, Taylor Adams with 6, Blair Cherry with 5, Blake Cherry with 3 to pace the Eagles here in this one. 20 to 14 the score as Bates tees up the serve. Kieran at the net, kept alive by the Eagles. Now Blair Cherry out to roll it over, back row for Mooring. Pickett far side set for Kessler. It's blocked, but out of play. Point LMU. 20 to 15 the score. As Wilkerson checks back in. Kessler will check out. 20 to 15 the score here in set number 4. As Cherry sets up for Blake far side. It's blocked in the net but kept alive by Carson-Newman. Now near side, Taylor Adams goes cross court and gets the kill. Point Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams up to 7 kills now in the evening. And Carson-Newman 4 points away from a home opening victory over its in-state rival. Taylor Kieran will serve for the Eagles. Back row for Mooring, but it goes off her hands, and Taylor Kieran has herself a service ace. Point Carson-Newman. 22 to 15 the score. Lincoln Memorial burns the timeout to try and talk over its last chance to reel this one back in, but Carson-Newman with a convincing 22 to 15 lead in set 4. We'll be back right here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman leads Lincoln Memorial 22 to 15 in the 4th set here at Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman has the lead 2 to 1. We're going to close things out here on the Eagles Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes taking you through all the action this evening. Thank you for joining me wherever you may be watching or listening from. I do appreciate it. Hope you're having a great night. Carson-Newman has performed well in front of a great home crowd for the SAC opener against its in-state rival. Carson-Newman with the 7-point advantage here late in this one, as Claire Bolton enters to serve. First time we've seen her tonight. She'll head back to serve for the Eagles. Serve goes back row for Mooring. Pickett sets to the net. Big swing by Bettel. Blocked in the net but kept alive by LMU. Blair Cherry sets far side to Blake. A big swing knocks Wilkerson back to her feet. She keeps it alive. Adams now with a big swing. Another good dig. Far side by Wilkerson. Mooring rolls it over and goes off the hands of Bates. Point LMU. Got to give Reagan Wilkerson credit there on the far side. Achieved a big swing and got the dig, and then on Blake Cherry's swing, she also kept it alive as Bolton checks out, as does Kieran for McCombs and Bates. 22-16 the score. As it'll be Meyer to serve for LMU. Back row for Betas. Blair Cherry sets up the net. Big swing by Hurst. Goes off the hands of Jacob and down. Point Carson-Newman. 23-16, the kill for Maddie Hurst. As Taylor Adams checks out, Trinity Hafey checks back in. That's 12 kills for the freshman Hurst. Second on the Eagles score sheet, just behind Emerson Osmus with 17. Hafey to serve for the Eagles, 2 points away from victory. Pickett sets up for Mooring, a big swing off the hands of Betas, kept alive by Cherry. McCombs dove after him, but couldn't get there in time. Point LMU. Bogdanska checks back in, out goes Jacob. And will be Bettle to serve. So even here at the scorers table, they're discussing the discrepancy. It's an important discrepancy here late in this one. Live stats have 23-17. Whole Fieldhouse scoreboard has 22-17. So I'm wondering when they're going to straighten that out. I believe 23-17 is correct. Waiting for clarification. Nonetheless, throughout this one, it's been great between Carson-Newman and LMU. It's exactly what you'd hope to see from two conference rivals. And LMU has lost the last 9, and barring a remarkable comeback in this one, losing streak will go to 10, but all 3 of these recent matches between the two teams have been tightly contested. And Carson-Newman won both matchups last year in 5 sets. This year it looks like it might just be 4. As no change on the scoreboard. It looks like we might be rolling with 22-17. Blair Cherry sets up for Hurst. It's blocked but kept alive by the Eagles. McCombs, far side, rolled over by Blake Cherry. Kept alive by Lincoln Memorial. Near side, Mooring, a big swing. Betas bumps it over. Pickett sets up for Mooring, a big swing. She'll put it down near side, but it's out of bounds. Point Eagles. So I believe now it will be 23-17. That's what the scoreboard and Holt reads. That's what we'll go with for now. As Blake Cherry will head back to serve. 23-17, Carson-Newman. Blake Cherry back row. Now Bogdanska, big swing, but a block by the freshman Osmus and Hurst at the net. Point Carson-Newman. 24-17, Carson-Newman. Match point on the way. The freshmen have been impressive. A great way to cap their nights with a block of the net. Carson-Newman's 10th. Blake Cherry serves, back row Mooring. Pickett sets it up near side. Mooring, a big swing. It's blocked, but goes out of play. Off the hands of Cherry and Hurst. Point LMU. Kessler checks in. Wilkerson checks out. Pickett will serve for the Rail Splitters. Still match point for the Eagles, 24-18. Pickett serves. Back row Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry sets it far side. Osmus, a big swing. Off the hands of Jacob and down. Point Carson-Newman. The match goes to Carson-Newman. 3-1 final here in the Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman takes the home opener and the SAC opener. Moving to 3-1, 1-0 in conference play. Lincoln Memorial falls to 3-1, 0-1 in SAC play. A couple big stats to point out before we head on our way this evening. Kristen Mooring led the way for LMU, 18 kills on 60 attacks. Lead the way for LMU. Agata Bogdanska had 9. Those two pacing Lincoln Memorial for Carson-Newman. Again, it was the freshmen who were nothing but impressive. Both had hitting percentages above 400. Emerson Osmus, 18 kills and 34 attempts, had only 3 errors. A 441 hit percentage. She had 8 digs as well, just 2 digs off of her first double-double, 3 block assists. Maddie Hurst had 12 kills and 24 attempts, just 2 errors, a 417 hit percentage, as those two really led the way for Carson-Newman. Taylor Kieran added 8, had a dig, or had a service ace and an assist. That's a 6 block assists. Taylor Adams with 3 block assists. She had 7 kills and 16 attempts. Blair Cherry with 5 kills, most of them those deceptive dumps that she was really good at this year. So Carson-Newman takes down LMU 3-1 in the home opener and the SAC opener to move to 3-1 on the season. Carson-Newman will head to the USC Aiken Volleyball Invitational on the 13th to face off against Francis Marion, and USC Aiken also will play nationally ranked number 25 Augusta and Montevallo. Talk to you again for volleyball September 24th against Limestone. Carson-Newman football will be on the road at West Virginia State this Thursday. Talk to you then. Carson-Newman wins 3-1 over LMU here at Holt Fieldhouse. Ryan Wilkes signing off. Talk to you next time here on the Eagle Sports Network.